Dear students, today we are going to study about chemical equations, which is the first topic of our chapter, chemical reactions and equations. What is meant by a chemical equation? We all of us know that there are two kinds of changes in this environment we can mainly notice. They are called physical change and chemical change. I can write an example of a physical change. What is the example? A common example I can write: hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. We know that this is a physical change. Hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. Now, is this the final? No. I can make this equation in a short form. How? Just write the symbols of the elements in this chemical equation. That is, H2 plus O2 gives H2O. See this? Now this equation becomes very short and it is very precise also. Now, this equation gives us two things. You can see one arrow and there is a plus sign. So the elements on the left hand side of the arrow are called reactants, and elements or products on the right hand side of the arrow are called products. So from a chemical equation we will get two things: reactants and products. Now, is this the final one? You can see here we have hydrogen and oxygen combines to form water. But there is something missing. What is it? You can see here we have two hydrogen atoms are here in the reactant side and there are two in the product side. We have two oxygen atoms, but there we have only one oxygen atom. So it leads to a question: why there is a difference in the number of atoms in the reactants and products? It leads to our main topic of today, that is balanced and unbalanced chemical equations. Why do we need to balance a chemical equation? That is the question which arises. Or is it necessary to balance a chemical equation? Yes, because if a chemical equation should proceed, it should follow one law. That law is known as law of conservation of mass. Then you may think, what is this law? We have already learned in 9th standard. Law of conservation of mass means the number of atoms of elements in reactants should equal to the number of atoms of elements in products in a chemical reaction. That is called a law of conservation of mass. So, if you consider this reaction, that is hydrogen plus oxygen gives water, you can find out some dissimilarity in this equation, which we have already discussed. In this equation, oxygen, number of atoms of elements in oxygen in reactants is not equal to the number of atoms of elements in products. So we call this as a unbalanced equation or a skeletal equation. Unbalanced equation or skeletal equation. So all the unbalanced or skeletal equations should be balanced. Why? Because it should follow the law of conservation of mass. So let's see how to balance a unbalanced equation. We have two methods are here. First method is called hit and trial method. Hit and trial method means we will do different trials to get a particular solution and then we will finalize an answer. For that, we have to tabulate in each steps to get the correct answer. If you take this example itself, we can tabulate the elements like this. Here we have element, then LHS and RHS. What are the elements present? Hydrogen and oxygen. So in LHS side, that is reactant side, we have 2 hydrogen, and RHS side also 2 hydrogens. And here we have 2 oxygen, but in RHS side we have only 1 oxygen atom. So it is clear from the table that we have to balance oxygen atoms. While balancing atoms of elements, we have to remember one thing, that we have the freedom to multiply any coefficient before the symbol of element or example. That is the thing. H2, I want to balance hydrogen atoms, suppose. So I have the right to multiply any coefficient just in front of this H2. Understood? That means if I will write 2H2, that means there are 4 hydrogen atoms. And if I will take H2O, that is in our product side, and if I will multiply 3 here just in front of H2O, that means what? We have 3 into 2, 6 hydrogen atoms as well as 3 oxygen atoms. That means what? This 3 will be applicable for this hydrogen as well as oxygen. Is it clear? Okay. Now, in this question itself, H2 plus O2 gives H2O. We tabulated, and here we got hydrogen 2 and oxygen 1. But what shall we do to balance it? We can have the option to multiply 2 on the right hand side. That means on the product side. Let us multiply. So when you multiply, you will get an equation as H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. Now let us tabulate. When you tabulate, you will get a table like this. Two hydrogen, but here RHS side we got 4, because 2 into 2 will become 4. Oxygen is 2 and hydrogen in the product side, oxygen is 2. Now the problem comes, hydrogen is 4 in RHS and 2 in LHS. So what we have to do? We can multiply 2 just before hydrogen on the reactant side. So we will get an equation that is 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. Again tabulate according to this. Then we have four hydrogen on the LHS as well as RHS side and 2 oxygen on the LHS as well as RHS side. Now both the LHS as well as RHS side, all the number of atoms of elements are equal. So we can call this one as our balanced equation. I hope it is clear to all.